This is Ashee from Crafting with Ashee, and welcome to this video. Thank you for joining me today. This is the card I have to share with you. It's this lovely stenciled card. There's no stamping at all on this card. This is done all just through stenciling, and isn't it lovely, as you can see? And this uses one of our new stencils called Abundant Beauty. And let me show you them. Let me just move my grid paper. It's easier to show you on the green. You get these two background stencils, and you get these as well. I'll show you the ones we're going to use. So you get this lovely flower, and then you get the leaves, and you get the flower centers and the away to our details. So you have 4 layers, and they all have a notch here, and this really helps you to line everything up. So let's bring back our grid paper. Whoops. And we're going to be stenciling on crumb cake cardstock, and I've got here a piece that measures 14.35 centimeters by 10 centimeters. And I'm going to take my first stencil, and I'm going to use my flower first, which is this one here, and I'm just going to position it where I want it on the card, which I think is roughly going to be lined up with the top like that. So I'm just going to flip it over, and then I'm going to take some post-it note tape. I'm just going to use this to hold my cardstock to my stencil. And I'm just going to do this on all of the sides like this. And just give it a press down. Now you can see your stencil's not going to move from your card, and it makes it much easier to stencil. And I'm going to be using my blending brushes, which I have here. These are Stampin Up blending brushes, and on my original you can see here I've done this in orange yellow, and I'm also going to follow the same idea for this card. So okay, I've pulled out all the colours we're going to use, and these are they: Mossy Meadow, Old Olive, Cajun Craze, Pecan Pie and Pumpkin Pie. And actually there's one other. We're going to use some Early Espresso, so sorry for my arm being in the camera. We're also going to use some Early Espresso. So we're going to start off with a flower, and to do that I'm going to use Cajun Craze and Pumpkin Pie. I'm going to go first in with Pumpkin Pie. So I'm going to take my orange one, and I put a little dot on the back of my blending brushes so that I know this one's for my orange. And I'm just going to pick up some ink, and this is really easy, and you're just going to go over circular motion. I find is easiest for me, and just stencil, and these just wash off, the ink just washes off these stencils very easily. Okay, so if you want to get ink off the brush, just brush it off. I'm going to use the same blending brush actually for my Cajun Craze. I'm just going to add a little bit of a darker in the centers, just to add some color variation like that. So that's our flowers done. So I can put this brush away, remove our stencil. Look at that, isn't that lovely? So pretty. So I'm going to set that aside so I can go and wash it afterward. And then I'm going to move on to my flower centers, which is this one here. And then you can just see how easy it is to line up. You can see there straight away it's not lined up properly. Flip it over, and then there we go. I've still got my post-it note pin tape, so that just holds it again. And this time I'm going to use some Pecan Pie for my flower centers. So let's get a little bit of that. There we go. That's that. Remove that. So there we have. Now we're going to add in our next piece. Just gives us a little bit of detail, so you can just line this up. I had everything lined up at the top, so just taking my time to make sure I'm happy with what I've got. And I'm going to go in here now with my Early Espresso and really deepen that up. Okay, lovely. Look at that. Really helps to bring it to life, doesn't it? And then the last but not least, we have our leaves, and you can decide how you want your leaves to sit on your page. I think I'm going to have mine like that. So put that one away. We want our green one out. And go with Old Olive. A little bit of ink. That's enough. And then I'm going to just add a little bit of the darker Mossy Meadow. Just a little bit there. So put away our blending brushes. We can move those out the way. Remove this. Look at that. Isn't that lovely? Take off our post-it note tape easily. And there we have our beautiful blended background. Okay, so you can leave a stencil background like this, but this time I think I am going to do a little stamping, and I use this stamp set called Quiet Meadow. I'm going to just use this stamp that has like these little splatters, and I think I'm going to use just a little bit of pecan pie. I'm just going to use my fingers to stamp. It's not the way you would normally stamp. And I'm just going to stamp off a little bit as well. Just add a little bit of extra just a little bit of extra interest. And I'm not, no rhyme or reason to where I'm stamping. Just adding a bit of extra interest there in the background. Lovely. Okay, so, whoops, sorry about that. Give a little stamp a clean. As you know, I'm a great believer in cleaning up as you go along. Saves a lot of hassle later on. Put that back in its home. Move that aside. So now we can assemble our cards. Our card base is Early Espresso. So that's a standard A6 card base. That's an A4 sheet cut in half and then folded in half. And I'm just going to stick this down to that. That didn't work very well. Okay. I'm covered in glue. Not a good idea. Let's see, I think my seal's coming towards the end. There we are. And then you can decide which way up you want this to go. I think I'm going to have it that way up. Just looks better to my eye, but you can have it whichever way. And then I have a piece here of very vanilla cardstock. And this is going to be our insert. So let's put that on the inside. And then I've cut out from some Early Espresso and crumb cake the word celebrate. And I also cut out these little hearts, and this is from this die set called Wanted to Say. So now we're just going to layer this piece on top. So I'm going to get my tweezers out if I can find them. Where are they? Here they are. And I'm just going to use this to hold my sentiment. Maybe try and hold it in the centre, see, that makes it a bit easier. And I'm just going to use a little bit of Tombow on the back, and you don't need much. Less is really more, and if you're struggling, just take your time. You can also put a little bit of glue on your silicone mat if you want, and then just pick it up from there with your die cut. It should be okay here. But I'm going to bring up my silicone mat, otherwise I'm going to have glue everywhere. I know me. Even with it, there's likely to be glue everywhere. And now you could have cut this with some, what do you call that stuff, adhesive sheet on the background, which would have worked fine. I just prefer to use wet glue so that I have a little bit of wriggle room to get everything lined up just the way I want it. Okay, so now we're going to just put a little bit of glue on the back here again. And just putting a little bit on. There we go. And then I'm going to put this down here at the base. Oh, lovely. And then I've got these little hearts. They're also from the same die set as the sentiment. And they come as a trio, but I want them to be separate. So I'm just going to cut them apart like this, just with my scissors. And where's this one here? Just trim off a little bit there. Okay. I'm just going to scatter these around card. Just put a bit of glue down. Just going to use my take your pick tool. And I'm just going to use it to put my hearts in place. There we go. Oops. So there we have our two cards. Very easy layered stenciling. So I hope you liked the project. If you did, I'd be grateful if you could give it a thumbs up so YouTube know. And please don't forget to subscribe to future videos. If you want more information about the project, the measurements, supply list, etc., it's all on the blog post on my website. And the links to that and all my social media links are in the description box below. So thank you again, and until next time, enjoy being creative. Bye.